Hey, I'm Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome for the first time. All around, welcome. I'm Carrieblogger, a career freelancer on Fiverr.com, where I've been selling and working as a copywriter, branding expert, and a bunch of other stuff for like 6 to 7 years now. In today's video, it's going to be just a little bit different because I'm doing a one take, no editing, quick and dirty, no makeup even, here we go kind of video. And it pretty much matches the topic of today's video, which is how to maintain a consistent and ultra productive schedule. When this video is going to be live, will be getting the keys to our new house that same day and we'll be moving. And so I have a lot going on in my personal life at this time of the month. And so looking ahead, I want to kind of give myself as much free time as possible to focus on those things and let the channel just kind of run itself a little bit. So I always thank past Carrie for being on top of it, for thinking ahead and doing her best work. And that helps future Carrie to focus on what needs to be done. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. So hopefully I cannot trip over my words too much. Hopefully I can actually do it and not have to edit this. I'm really hoping I have some thoughts planned out. And so we're going to talk about it. Here we go. So first off, if you're freelancing like me, we're just going to kind of discuss what we all know is the reality of it. There's like 3 major reasons that managing your own schedule is really hard as a freelancer. The first I've talked about in previous videos about, there was one specifically about my income fluctuating, how much it does and how to track that. In terms of managing your schedule, it's really hard because when that fluctuates, there's no rhyme or reason when you are going to be busy, when you're not. I don't know in 2 weeks from now when this video goes up if I'm going to be swamped with work or if it's going to be okay. It's really hard to plan ahead in that sense. The other reason is that you're likely juggling other things if it really is like a side hustle for you. That's in addition to all your other work and being perhaps a mom or a dad or coaching a sports team. I mean, whatever else you do in your life, navigating the fluctuating freelance side of things on top of everything else can be really, really difficult because it is the side, it's on top. And so it often doesn't get like the prime slot of your productivity and attention. And that can be really difficult to manage. And the third thing, of course, is that only you are truly in charge of you in the freelancing world. Of course, on Fiverr, like I've mentioned before, there's a delivery timer. So I do have a timer that's, counting down and saying, hey, you really need to deliver this. But other than that, in the threat of something bad happening, I am completely in charge of myself. And so if you are someone who's not entirely self-motivated or you have a hard time like being accountable to yourself and not procrastinating, those things can be really difficult for you to manage on your own without a boss or your spouse or whoever telling you that you need to get something done. Tip number 1, here we go. I recommend that you take breaks and that you give yourself time to recharge. As I've mentioned many times before, I'm not into the whole hustle hard, always grinding, always working, like climbing and never stopping. I don't see value in any way of working all through the night and anything like that. That's not my thing. So I do first of all recommend you do take breaks, but also make sure that the slow times is when you can maximize your productivity so that you're actually taking advantage of the slow times to help you when you are more busy. Prime example of what I'm doing right now. Today's date is February 9th. And right now my orders are pretty low. They're not dangerously low. I'm not scared about it. It's just a nice little break because it's the start of the month right away. And so right now I'm taking huge advance, I'm taking advantage, that's the word, of getting these videos, prepared for later in the month. I'm packing a bunch. I'm doing a lot of personal stuff. I'm working on projects that have been on my to-do list for a while that have never gotten attention. And so think about the slow times not only as being like a relief of thank God I have a break for a second, but also it's just kind of your catapult to set yourself up for success later when things do get a little bit more full. That also before I move on, it also creates the illusion of more evenness in your schedule, I found. And so even when I am slow or my orders are not as many as normal, it's not that I magically am just like, I'm not twiddling my thumbs at home thinking I have nothing to do, this is so boring. When it is slow, that's when I fill up my days with really productive things that help me be successful later on. So it doesn't feel quite so much like a roller coaster because I'm kind of like backfilling, I'll call it prorating my schedule, even though that's definitely not the right connotation of that word. But there you go. I don't know if that makes sense. But here we go. Moving on. Tip number 2. There's 3 ways that I kind of prioritize things in my schedule. The first, of course, is urgency. That's pretty clear. When things are due, you have a deadline. Urgency makes a lot of sense. The other thing that's essential to prioritize by is importance. So even though something might be due in 3 days, if that's less important than the thing that's due in 5 days, I might start to focus on the more important part of my task. Just because if in a weird worst case scenario, if I didn't have time for both, then of course the important thing is more valuable to me to spend my time on than the urgent thing. Of course, the idea is that you get everything done always, but you have to think worst case scenario. I always will prioritize importance over urgency if I have to put them side by side. And then the third thing that you want to do is prioritize by ease. So just because something isn't important and it's not urgent, if it's only going to take you 5 minutes, why not? Like if that would make you feel better of checking more stuff off your to-do list, if that would make you just feel happier because it was easy to do and you had like a little victory, then do it, right? So the ease, although technically isn't at all as important as something that's important and urgent, ease, something that you can just fill into your schedule, can make you feel better about getting it done. So that's something to consider as you're kind of moving things around in your schedule. Tip number 3 is about your mindset. I have always called myself a perfectionist, but I'm trying really hard, and I think that freelancing has helped me a lot to focus on just transitioning from perfectionism into high expectations. And here's where I kind of define a difference, and especially in terms of like a schedule and productivity. Perfectionism to me leads a lot to overthinking because perfect, unless it's like a test that you need like a certain percentage to get, like that's pretty clear-cut metric. But otherwise, there's perfect is unattainable in so many ways. Eric, stop calling me. I'm in a one take. I can't do this right now. Shh. So perfect is really hard to do. High expectations are extremely clear. And so instead of trying to be perfect, I just set my expectations very high. I'm going to do this at a very high standard. It's going to be on time. I'm going to be, feeling good about it. And those things are clear and easy to achieve. Perfect can stall me. Perfect can make me think that it's never good enough. And so you just have to have a very clear expectation of what you expect from yourself and set those into like real world metrics so that once you've achieved that metric, you can be happy with it, you can feel good about it, and you can move on, and you're not getting stuck in a cycle of like never continuing and never moving on and feeling like you're just stuck. All right, and the other thing is that high expectations can really help with a clear forward momentum. So just in addition to like a project, I want to be done on time at a strictly high level that I feel confident with. Those are 3 very clear metrics. But also my high expectations are for myself for the future. I want to earn this much money in a year. I want to have these high ratings on the platform. I want to continue to have people come back to me and say that they enjoy my work. Those are high expectations that lead me forward. Perfectionism is I want an amazing business life that I love and I don't have to work very hard and I just love my job. And while I do love my job, those are not as attainable and forward moving as just having very clear expectations for yourself, which then you can work backwards to set steps to achieve. Am I talking so fast? I feel like I'm talking so fast. Okay, here we go. Tip number 4 is kind of 2 ideas of how to structure your time. And I honestly flip-flop so much. I did a day in the life video like back when I first started this channel. It was so much fun to film. I'll probably do another one pretty soon because I thought it was pretty interesting and fun to do. And in that video, I'm pretty sure I'd said like, this is always how it goes. And now that I think about it, that's not usually how it goes. So option A for structuring your time is that you should start on the important stuff right away. Like right when you wake up, if you have time, you're going to start immediately on those important projects. And then once you get done with those, then you can naturally move on to the other /fun /miscellaneous things that are on top of your actual work. That's really a good solution if you really want to do those other things, because then you'll naturally like push through work and be really productive. But I sometimes notice that I don't care about the fun things, and that's kind of a sad thing to say, but it kind of is. Like I will always push off something that is fun or extra, or it doesn't really matter, it doesn't have like that much importance to me, but I will not push off work, which means that sometimes I'm just stewing in work for like way longer than I should be, just because I'm okay to push the other stuff. I'm not okay to push this off. So that's one option. I think what I actually prefer right now in a weird way is that I start with the fun stuff. I start with, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna go for a run, I'm gonna make myself lunch, I'm gonna like do those other things that I don't have to do at the core of my like productivity value, because then there's inherent time value in productivity later. So this is so hard to explain. Like I mentioned previously, I will never stay up all night. I don't think I'll say I have never pulled an all-nighter in my whole life. That's just not a thing I'm willing to do. And so I know how much time it's going to take me to finish this project. I know that it has to be done today. So if I start with all of the fun stuff, then I'm naturally going to keep my schedule progressing and moving forward, because this block of productive time is like non-negotiable to me. And then it just helps me like keep moving forward, not getting stuck in just spending too much time on one particular thing, because what's coming up next is something that I'm like excited about, I feel importance of, and I'm not willing to just dawdle in the fun stuff at the expense of not getting that done in the long run. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully one of those options resonates with you. I don't think that there's a right or wrong way to do it, and especially if your like schedule changes a lot, if it's a side hustle kind of situation especially, but just kind of consider, like, is it more helpful for you to put the time value stuff first, so you're really productive first and then you can move on? Or will it push you forward like it does for me to put the time value stuff second, because you know in your heart of hearts you're never gonna skimp on that, you're just gonna keep pushing to get it done. So something to consider. All right, I think I did that successfully. I don't think I'm gonna have to edit this. Really excited about that. I hope that this is helpful for you. As always, please like this video if you like it. I know this is a different format than normal. I will get back to like edited, thoughtfully crafted videos pretty soon. We have 2 weeks of this one take situation going on. And if you have any comments or questions you'd like, please leave them down for me below. I love to answer questions. If you have specific freelancing stuff you'd like advice on, that I can make a Freelance Friday video about, I would love to do that for you. So I'm gonna move. I'm excited. Stalkers, don't come after me. And I hope you're having a great week and enjoy everything that freelancing has to offer. Good luck, and let's get back to work.